Okay, thank you, everyone. Starting out with some general Zoom housekeeping rules. Attendees will be able to raise hands during the duration of the hearing, but will only be invited to speak during the public comment period portion. When you are called on to speak, I will call your name as shown or the phone number digits that are shown. Please state your name for the record. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Burnell. Hello, Bill Albrecht, the hearing examiner for the city of Lakewood. For the record, it's September 14th, 2020, 2:00 p.m. We're holding a virtual Zoom hearing on a conditional use permit application, a modification actually, of a former one for a Clover Park School. The format for today's hearing will be the same as the in-person ones that we've held in the past, where we'll start off with a staff presentation. Andrea Bell from the planning department will give you an overview of what the application is about. Then once she's finished, we'll move on to applicant comments. If they want to add anything, there's no requirement that they do so, but if they want to, they'll have that opportunity. After that, we'll open it up to public comments. And at that point, if you're having any trouble participating, I'm going to be sharing some information on how to ensure that the city receives your comments. In case we can't get them today, the record is going to be held open for 2 weeks after this. So you will have a chance to get your comments in one way or another. We'll figure out and ensure that that happens. Once we're done with the citizen and public comments, we'll move back to staff rebuttal. That'll be a chance for staff to answer any questions that were raised before, present any necessary rebuttal evidence. Finally, when staff is finished, the applicants, the people who want to build the school improvements, get the final say. After that, I have 2 weeks. That'll be 2 weeks from the close of the hearing. So all in all, that's a month from now to issue my final decision. And that final decision will be distributed to anyone who gives us their address and wants a copy. So if you're a member of the public and you have something you want to say and you want to get a copy of that decision, be sure to give us your email address when you're making your comments or your physical address so that that decision can be mailed to you. Now, by state law, I'm only allowed to consider evidence that's presented into the hearing today. I'm not allowed to talk to staff beforehand or the applicant or anybody else for that matter about that project. That way, everyone who's involved today knows exactly what information I'm considering to issue that final decision. It's kind of a level playing field deal where everybody gets to know what evidence is considered and everyone has a chance to respond to it. So in that light, my Zoom screen is doing something strange here. Hold on a second. In that light, I'm going to share a screen with you all at this point, which shows, sorry. There we go. Got just some technical issues there. It's going to show the staff report. Here it is. Okay. So let me ask Ms. Bell, do you see your staff report up there on the screen? Oh, yeah, I think she's saying yes. Ms. Burnett?
Yes, I do see it.
Okay, yeah, great. Okay. All right, I'm going to move down to the exhibit screen on the staff report, which is the pages 6 and 7 of the staff report there. These are the documents that staff gave to me ahead of the hearing. They include the staff report, the project development plans, prior decision approving the initial construction of the school, environmental review, and public comments that were received from 3 different neighbors to the project. I read all of those comments and staff has responded to those in the staff report. At this point, I'm going to ask if there are any objections to entry of those documents A through L. If any of you have objections, just go ahead and you can raise your virtual hand or just say I object. If you're not muted, we can hear you, and then note that objection. Okay, I don't see any raised hands out there, so I'm going to go.
Mr. Ulbricht, the screen is not currently showing the exhibit list if you wanted to scroll down.
It's not.
No, I'm currently seeing page 3 of 7.
Huh, okay, that's the, okay, I'll stop the share. Let me get that back up then. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's the problem with Zooms. You can't tell what document is being shown. Okay. And that, nope, that's Ramon's. Hold on a second. All right. Okay. almost there. Sorry about the little delay here. Okay, how about that? Do you see that now?
I do. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. Okay, as I was saying, this is pages 6 and 7 of Ms. Bell's staff report. Are there any objections to the exhibits identified there on pages 6 and 7? Okay, hearing no objections, those documents are admitted. Ms. Bell, go ahead. You can present the application at this point.
Great, thank you. All right, so let me. All right, good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Andrea Bell. I am the project planner for the new proposed portables for Thomas Middle School. I was also the project planner for the original approvals for Thomas Middle School when that came in 2018. The applicant, Clover Park School District, has proposed the construction of new portables totaling 7,619 square feet at the new Thomas Middle School site located at 11509 Holden Road Southwest here in Lakewood. This is in order to provide 6 new classrooms and additional space for students in anticipation of growing capacity. A land use modification permit was required for the proposal because staff determined it to be a major modification to Clover Park School District's original conditional use permit, number LU 1800085, for the new 136,000 square foot Thomas Middle School. The subject amendment will not alter the original scope of work other than this addition, and includes only the addition of the 7,619 square foot modular buildings to be utilized as portable classrooms. This project does not constitute a change of use. As proposed, it appears that the project and the new portables are in substantial compliance with the City of Lakewood Land Use and Development Code, as well as the comprehensive plan. Design review, building permits, and a site development permit are all required as part of full project approval. Subject to the conditions set forth in the staff report, the Community Development Department determines that findings can be made for granting approval of the land use modification permit for the new portables at New Thomas Middle School. And that's my answer.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ms. Bell. Now, I take it that the staff report doesn't identify what review criteria you use for this. Can I assume that it would be the conditional use permit criteria that apply again for the modification? Is that right?
Yes, in a sense. The application itself does not have its own specific criteria. So we, in essence, utilize the conditional use permit criteria.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see the code didn't really identify criteria for a major modification. It just addressed minor modifications. So I took that to imply that a major modification would require a reapplication, which essentially is just applying conditional use criteria again.
Yes, and the applicant did provide basically revisions to their original conditional use permit findings. However, since there wasn't anything codified, I did not include it in the staff report.
Okay, all right. And then let's see. So there were concerns about stormwater analysis raised. Is the stormwater analysis for the addition going to be completed during site plan review? Is that the sequence here?
Site development, yes, it'll be reviewed at that time.
And one of the neighbors had said that they believe the regulations required retention on site. Is that correct? And how is that handled with the rest of the project? You know?
Yeah, so typically for the City of Lakewood, they do require on-site infiltration. They don't allow it to disperse outside of the property unless there are some type of, extenuating conditions or something that makes that absolutely impossible. So the way that it will work is the Public Works Department is going to go ahead and review a completely separate site development permit alongside the already approved and issued site development for the middle school, and make sure that this addition of new impervious surfaces and runoff and things of that nature is not going to have an adverse impact on the surrounding properties.
I mean, do you know how the runoff with stormwater was handled for the existing project? Is there a large retention pond somewhere or something, or?
Off of the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure what their plan is. I know that we do have some of the staff from Clover Park School District, as well as those that they are working with for this project. It's possible that one of them may know that answer, and if so, I do encourage them to go ahead and raise their hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, they'll have an opportunity to speak. Yeah, because I'm assuming since it's under construction that the stormwater plans have already been put together and approved. So yeah, I was curious how that was going to work. Then also were parking impacts considered at all for this project outside of the school site? Because I'm a hearing examiner for the Seattle School District, and parking is always the biggest issue. I didn't really see it mentioned in conjunction with this, but Lakewood's a little different from Seattle.
Definitely, just a little.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely took into account parking impacts. From our determination, we do believe that based on the capacity they're going for, as well as the number of staff that they expect to be on site at any one time, that there will be appropriate capacity. The issue I would say that we're not as concerned about is this isn't a high school or something where you have students constantly parked on site at any one time. There are different elements that I know that the city is working with the applicant or Clover Park School District related to ongoing traffic issues and additional traffic studies and things like that. But as part of this site being zoned public institutional and not necessarily having specific requirements for parking, we did believe that there was sufficient parking there based on their operational characteristics, showing student capacity and staff members on site at any one time.
Okay. Yeah, my experience with the parking issue is usually it becomes a problem that schools have 2 or 3 events a year where they bring in all the parents at night or something, or some massive school play. I mean, has there been any history of parking problems in this area? Because this is replacing like 2 schools, right, in this area? I mean, has that been a problem in the past?
The old school was I think only 80,000 square feet, and they are making it significantly larger to kind of take on capacity from Woodbrook Middle School, which did close down. So based on that, I can definitely say that in the past there have been traffic issues. I can't speak to whether or not that there have necessarily been parking issues, but there is a lot of residential. It's basically surrounded by residential for the most part, and so when they're looking at some of the possible mitigation that they are going to be doing in terms of frontage improvements and things like that, or things they've already done at this point because it is under construction. They did, I believe, do kind of an assessment through their traffic impact analysis on off-site parking, street parking, and different potentials if there is some kind of large event or something at the school. At this time, we think they're going to be okay, but definitely something we could ask for, like a parking study to be completed once the school is finished, because that's what we're doing with the traffic study right now.
Okay, yeah. And I do recognize we're only dealing with the modular here, 6 classes. How many students is that about? Do you recall? I don't know if
off the top of my head, I don't know exactly. I know that their capacity was at about 1,000. And then they did bring that up, and I want to say they brought it up by a few hundred or so. So,
okay.
I don't have that exact number.
And then also, looking at the site plan, I see there's kind of a green space between the modular and the property lines on the north and the east side. Is that going to be completely site obscuring? And it looks like there's a lot of trees in there and things that may possibly do that. Do you know?
On the east side?
On the northeast side, yeah. And I can share my screen if that.
Yeah, no, I think I'm familiar with the corner that you're talking about. And yes, that is going to be fairly site obscuring. There are a significant number of trees and different things that are located in that area. They did have to remove some of those trees because there was significant root damage, and they are also building a retaining wall. However, there will be landscaping and additional tree planting and some different things in that area for some site obscuring features.
Okay. And then finally, the construction impacts. I know that I think you said in the staff report that the people who had that concern were referred to people they could speak to at from the applicant. Do you know what the results were of those discussions, or are they going to be able to do anything to help these people?
From just what I know based on some of the communication with those neighbors that had reached out to us, it was my understanding that they were able to get in touch with the school district and they were working on some type of resolution. I was kind of taken out of that conversation once we put Clover Park in touch with those neighbors that had concerns. So I don't know exactly what came of that, but I didn't hear back from anybody, and I can only assume that hopefully there was some type of resolve, and that whatever that was, it'll continue on with, you know, further construction and site development.
Great. All right. Thanks, Ms. Bell. And yeah, maybe the applicant can answer some of those questions about the stormwater and the neighborhood communications. Do we have anybody from the applicant who could address that at this point? Let's see. Ms. Brunel, do you see anybody who would be speaking on behalf of the school, or?
Yes, I have invited Todd Sawin to speak.
Okay.
And promoted him to a panelist. So Todd, if you go ahead and unmute yourself, you should be able to participate.
There we go.
I also have William Belcoon, who is raising his hand, and I will also allow to talk. And
Okay, Mr. Sawin, did you want to get started, or do you want to?
Absolutely, I can get started.
Okay. Have you been sworn in, sir?
I have not.
Okay, let me swear you in real quick. Do you swear firm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
I do.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
So I'm a civil engineer with AHBL. I'm doing the site design for the project. The stormwater piece that you were asking about, the site has some areas of really good soil on it. So there's underground infiltration trenches located throughout the site that takes all of the water from the entire area. We infiltrate all water on site, nothing leaves, in accordance with Lakewood Municipal Code requirements. Those systems have been sized for the modular building area.
Oh, already, so that it has the capacity for that. Okay.
Yeah, what we didn't want to do is get to the end of this and decide we needed to tear up something we just built to build another system. So so we definitely have those requirements met, and we'll be submitting those documents to the city for review. But this should be relatively straightforward, and the water will infiltrate within the school district property.
Great. And then the question about the neighbors, were you involved in those discussions at all, or is that someone else on your team?
I wasn't, but Bill would probably be the right person to answer that.
Okay. Ms. Brunel, can you unmute Bill, I guess?
yes, Mr. Kuhn, you should be able to participate.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. This is Bill Kuhn. Do you want to swear me in?
Yeah. Do you swear affirm, tell the truth, nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
I do.
Okay, great. All right, go ahead, Mr. Kuhn.
Yeah, through construction of the school, which is basically complete at this point, there were a number of neighbors that were calling about the vibration when we did earthwork and compaction for the various parts of the project. And we did, myself and the contractor met with the various neighbors several times, and Corsmo is working with them once the project is complete to work with them or their insurance companies to try to do mitigation if in fact their construction activity did cause property damage or cracks in their buildings. So those are being addressed.
Great. Okay. Is any more of that compaction work going to be necessary for the modular buildings?
Possibly for the foundation work at where the modulars are going. I'm not sure though. It's not as intense as some of the other compaction that we did.
Mm-hmm. How long will that work take you, if it's necessary, do you think?
The preparation of the pad is not going to be done until until closer to when the portables are ready for delivery. Right now, the portables are scheduled to be, or the modulars are scheduled to be complete. They're being built in Almsville, Oregon, in the Blazer factory, and they should be done around early December. So sometime early next year, we will once we get all our permits in place, building permits and land use permits, we will actually deliver and construct the modules early next year. So it'll probably be early next year that the foundation will be developed.
I mean, how many days would that take? I'm just curious how long.
I would think that, I don't know if Corsmo is on, is anybody from Corsmo on the project? It'd be Brian Isaacson or Matthew Struthers. Are they on? They could probably address that, but I would think less than a week.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Yeah, I just didn't want them to have that for going on for months or something, but all right. Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you, Mr. Kuhn. Appreciate your assistance on this. All right, anything else from the applicants at this point? Okay, I don't see any raised hands or anything. So now we'll move on to the public portion of the hearing. And I'm going to put up some contact information again on that. Let's see, there we go. Okay, and Ms. Brunel, is Ms. Bell's contact information on the screen?
It is, and I do not see any participants who've joined us. Or
Okay, that was my next question. You anticipated. All right, well, in case anyone is watching on YouTube or something and you can't figure out how to get involved, you can call Ms. Bell, her number there, 253-983-7802, or email her at her email address. As I said,
I believe Ms. Bell would like to provide an alternative phone number as well, as she is currently working from home.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I apologize. Actually, 7802 is not my extension. That's Ramon's extension.
Oh, okay.
They can reach me by my work phone, which will usually forward to my city cell. So that's 983-7814.
Okay.
Or they can contact me more directly through my city cell phone, which is 253-370-3400.
All right, there we go. Okay. There's the contact. Call her, or you can email her, within the next few minutes, or like I said, the record will be open for the next 2 weeks. And if you, get your email comments in, written comments, we'll figure out a way to get your comments in if you weren't able to get them in today. So with that, Ms. Bell, any final comments you want to make on behalf of the city?
I don't believe so. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Bell. Appreciate your comments. And finally, applicants, anything you want to say? You don't have to, as I said before. It doesn't look like anybody's raising their hand. So I'll go ahead and close the I guess we'll call it the verbal portion of the hearing today. The hearing is open for 2 more weeks for any written comments from people who had problems participating. After that, I have 2 weeks to issue a final decision. I anticipate it'll be done sooner than that. But anyway, appreciate you all participating in our second virtual hearing for the city of Lakewood. And we are adjourned for this afternoon. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye, everybody.